I'm convinced that we have Donald Trump because the bigger problem in America is a bad idea. All right, here we go. You ready for this? The inaugural episode.
Yeah, this is it. Jump off.
All right. Hey everyone, welcome to House Call. I'm Dr. Ruben Brock. I am here with my partner in crime, Danny Miller. And this is it. This is the new House Call.
Mm-hmm. We've been waiting on this for a while.
And I'm excited. I'm excited about reinventing the show because I feel like the old show, I loved the old show, don't get me wrong, but I feel like I was a little bit shackled because I felt like I was supposed to be objective, but I don't want to be objective anymore.
Yeah, we tried hard to get you out of that to try to tap into the personality a little bit.
Right, but I feel like this is going to be a way for me to let loose. Yeah. Because ultimately the reason I wanted to do House Call is I wanted to have a microphone. I wanted to have the ability to give my thoughts to the world.
Yeah.
And we were doing that, but not really because I was attempting to like really let the guests be the ones that have a voice, and I was just kind of objective as much as possible. But nah, I got stuff to say.
Yeah, I think you should say it.
So where do we even start? So, well, first of all, I mean, it's the day after Christmas, right? So what was Christmas like?
Christmas 2020. I guess all things considered for the year 2020,
right.
I would say Christmas was really good.
So
okay. It was a good year.
But you say really good for 2020. What does that mean?
Yeah, am I saying it's really good for 2020 or it was just a really good Christmas? That's
right.
actually a good question. I think I'm saying it was just a good Christmas.
Okay.
Yeah, my wife did a really good job cooking
and that would have normally been your dad.
Yeah,
every
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's our second.
This is the second year without your dad. I'm gonna have to get used to this.
I know it's a lot different in the format.
This is so different.
It looks good on you.
Danny,
like
it's so difficult though. Yeah. Because I'm used to a lapel mic and all this other stuff.
This is not as official. It feels different.
It does. But I like it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I'll get used to it. But, all right, so this is year 2 without your dad. And I feel like, and I just did, last night I did the episode of The Back Nine about it. I feel like these days, holidays are like somber. They're like bittersweet now. And I used to hear people say that a lot. And I would be like, why would the holidays bring sadness? But now I get it. I understand that, like, now Thanksgiving was always my favorite holiday, and then Christmas was my second favorite holiday. But the reason they were my favorites is because of all the family stuff. And I don't really do that anymore. I don't really do family stuff all like that anymore.
Because of COVID?
No, because of life. And I'm becoming like, I've become a hermit. I don't even really want to.
I've been a hermit.
Yeah, you have been a hermit. You always were a hermit.
Yeah.
But I'm becoming a hermit, and I'm realizing that holidays just remind me of what I no longer do. Like, and it's not that I'm saying I wish I did. I don't even think it would work anymore. And so now, when I'm at Thanksgiving, when I'm at Christmas, there's a part of me that's enjoying it, but there's also a part of me that's just like remembering, oh wow, I used to see my whole family.
The nostalgia.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like sad.
It is. Letting go of that piece of your life.
Yes.
It's like a fond memory.
And accepting that it's gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the accepting it, that's a tough part.
Right, exactly. Because, and here's what's weird. Here's what's interesting. I feel like, my dad died when I was young, right? 7. So I don't even remember having to adjust to him not being around for stuff. But now, I feel like the things that I'm adjusting to, they're not because of death. It's not that a bunch of people have died. It's that I no longer really kick it with those people. You know what I mean? It's that like my life has changed to the point where it's more fun for me to sit at home.
Yeah.
I just feel more comfortable with a very, very small group of people. But what it means, though, is that it's like it seems harder to accept now because it's not that the people are no longer with us. It's that the people are no longer here. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that transition that you're talking about, that transition into acceptance, I guess, accepting the fact that you're not
it's harder
with family. You had some trouble. You struggled with that at the beginning.
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've learned over the last couple of years that it's like, honestly, I feel like an alien. So, but then accepting that I'm a little bit of an alien means, all right, well, I'm only going to kick it with aliens because I just don't really want to feel uncomfortable all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So I end up spending a lot of time alone.
Yeah.
And on the one hand, that's good that I've recognized it and come to accept it and I'm cool with it on some level, but it does make it hard because you're like, well, theoretically, I could go see people. There are people in the world I could go see, but I already know what that's going to be like. I already know how that's going to go, so I'm just going to be here. You know, like, so that's what's hard for me about holidays.
But ultimately, you feel like that's better
for me?
And
yeah.
the rest of the family?
I mean, I can only speak for me. You know what I mean?
What's there or what?
Well, so when I say me, I say the people who live in this house.
Okay.
Right. And Dara, I kid you not. I'm not saying this because we're being recorded. I firmly believe she's the best wife on earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what she wants is for me to be happy. It's really weird, and I think it's the way she was raised. But she was raised to be like a wife. Mm-hmm. That's the ultimate goal for her, and like that took a lot for me to get used to. Like,
really? But that's what you've always wanted.
It's crazy because you know me. That's what I've always wanted. I've always wanted a wife that wanted to be my like right hand, and now she's my right hand and my left hand. Like I feel like I'm completely useless without her. But it's weird to think about because I would used to ask her like, well, what do you want? And she would it would be like, I want what you want. I want like so she knew so COVID's been hard for me. I've been struggling, and she knows that. And so Thanksgiving was hard because Thanksgiving's my favorite day. And so Thanksgiving has become a day that just kind of makes me sad more than anything because I just miss the way it used to feel when I was a kid. But she made a full spread because it was COVID. So she knew we weren't going anywhere. We made a decision. We're shutting it down.
Yeah.
Right? So we're not seeing anybody. But she made a full spread like my childhood. She made my mom's stuffing recipe. She made my grandmother's peach cobbler recipe.
Which is famous in the family. Right?
Oh my goodness.
Does she do it?
I'm not gonna
You're not gonna say it?
I'm not gonna speak on a comparison of any kind. However, what I will say is it's the chronic. It might as well be crack.
Really?
Oh my goodness. It's so good. Because my wife took my grandmother's recipe and then she augmented it with so Dara will only use like organic everything. So we used like peach truck peaches. Peach truck peaches are the bomb.
The one that comes from Georgia?
Yes.
Y'all got that this year?
Yes.
I never got those. I forgot about that.
When
did they come in?
That's a good question. But we got them. I thought y'all got them too.
Nah.
Are you sure?
I'm used to going and standing in.
Yeah, but they didn't do that. It was something different. I forget. I'll have to ask. But yeah, but she'll use like cane sugar. She'll use fresh peaches, and it just takes it up a notch.
Yeah.
And so.
Yeah.
It's so she made all these things. She made all the stuff that I love. She made the meal because that's my favorite meal. Thanksgiving dinner is my favorite meal. It always has been. With my
turkey.
No, it's my mom's stuffing. It's the stuffing and the mac and cheese. So when I was a kid, it would be my mom's stuffing, my Aunt Sherry's mac and cheese, and my grandma's peach cobbler. That's the day. That's the whole day.
You don't have that on Christmas?
No.
Only on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. That's a Thanksgiving meal, and it's my favorite meal, and I'll eat it breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a week after that.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
And so this year, we only had me, Dara, Ruben, and Ella here at the house. That was the whole Thanksgiving. I'm used to Thanksgivings with 50 people.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did Thanksgiving with just us, but she made the whole meal. She could have fed 20 people at Thanksgiving. And she did it all because she wanted me to feel like I was having Thanksgiving, which is, it's crazy.
She's a good fit for you.
Oh my goodness.
Not anybody. Not just anybody can fill your shoes.
I promise you, she might be the only. There might be, because, you know, I don't believe in the whole, like, you know, one person deal. I don't believe. Yeah. People say, like, this person's meant for you, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that for 1 second. I believe, you know, there are billions of people on Earth. It can't be that there's one that was meant for you. That doesn't make any sense to me, because what if you don't meet them, or what if, you know, what if they trip and fall?
Well, technically, some people don't meet anybody.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There are people who spend their lives alone. I
agree. It's not.
But it can't be that simple. But you find the person who is that perfectly matched for you, and you won. You won the lottery, and I feel like I won that lottery. I feel like she couldn't be like, so you already know I'm difficult. I'm a difficult person to deal with. But she has thick enough skin to deal with me.
Yeah.
And
she's strong enough to stand on her own too.
Right.
She is the Michelle to your Barack.
She'll argue with me, which is, don't make fun of the way I put on chapstick.
I was just thinking chapstick. I need some chapstick.
Listen, I'm first of all, I'm addicted to chapstick. Second of all, I put it on weird. I don't
You've been addicted since high school.
Yeah, I love chapstick. It's a problem.
Yeah.
But I don't know that there are that many people on Earth who could handle being my partner. I'm just very, very particular. I'm very, very difficult. And I didn't fully understand why until very recently. And we'll talk about that later. But I've just come to realize I'm a very, very difficult person, very particular person. And so I married someone who can handle that. And you know, I'll eat you up and spit you out. Like, that's just who I am. I'm a very high intensity person, and she can, for whatever reason, she can bang with me. She can like, she's there are two people, really. I feel like, you know what, this is weird. I've never had this conversation with you. I feel like I might be the luckiest dude on Earth, and I'm gonna say, well, here's why. Most people, just like you just said, this is gonna be a problem.
I can see you hitting it.
Because I talk with my hands. But most people will be lucky to find one perfect partner in their life. I've found two. I feel like I have two partners that are perfect for my life, in Dara and you. And it's crazy because you look at my life and everybody else is like just kind of fall off to the wayside, right? And there's these two relationships that I have that I don't understand why, but they just work, right? And so it's really cool because I feel like I don't know that there are that many people who get that, but it is oddly isolating too.
Yeah, it is, because you start investing a little bit more in those two people.
Right, more than, because you know, I'm intense. It'll be like if you and I don't talk for a couple days, I'll be like, "Hey man, what's going on?"
Yeah.
Because I'm like, listen, I got two people.
Yeah.
Okay, so you know what I mean? Like,
that's not good. I'm the same way. I mean, I'm different in a way, but the same because I'm being an only child.
Yeah,
I'm used to falling back into a corner and not having anybody.
Yeah, you'll crawl into a hole.
I do.
You crawl into a hole sometimes.
You call me out of that hole a lot.
A lot. And the reason I call you out of that hole is twofold. One, I'm like, why are you in the hole? And two, I'm gonna need you to come out the hole.
Because I'm gonna need you. I need you right now. Yeah, we've done that a lot.
You know what I mean?
A lot.
But so that's one of the things that comes to the forefront of my mind when holidays come around, is I realize I start taking inventory. Holidays make me take inventory. That's what it is.
Who's in your life? What's in your life?
Yeah, because in my value system, you're supposed to be surrounded. Because you know the way I think about the world. I want to be surrounded.
Yeah.
I want everyone to be surrounded, right, by love. That's what I want. And so holidays remind me that I take inventory. That's what it is. And that's when it makes me a little bit sad.
Like an unbearable type of sadness?
Not unbearable, because everything is bearable.
Yeah.
I don't believe in I think there's only one thing that would be truly unbearable for me. And that's losing my kids. Yeah. Death is not unbearable for me. The idea of dying, everybody's not dying.
Death for yourself, but death for the loved ones.
Yeah, my kids. That's unbearable.
Yeah.
I'm not losing my kids. I mean, but I think everybody would say that. Yeah. And losing Dara, I can't even talk about it. I'll start crying right now.
I think about that with Roz all the time.
Do you think about like I couldn't deal with that? Like,
it's a tough one to swallow.
I mean, here's the thing. Theoretically, sure, I think I'd probably be. I would live. You know what I mean? Yeah. But I would be like, no, I'm cool. I'll pass. you know what I mean?
Feel like you said, you found that person that just compliments you so well.
I truly, in my heart, believe I got life figured out.
Yeah, you said that.
I'm telling you.
I feel like you might.
And I feel like it's in the last maybe year that I've figured out the secret. And not that I'm saying like my life is perfect, because it's not. But what I'm saying is I think I got it figured out. I think I understand. Like people say, what is the meaning of life? Like, what is this all about? I feel like I got it figured out.
What do you mean? So you're telling me you figured out? So the question, what is the meaning of life? You would be able, you think?
I believe yes.
So what is it?
Love.
Okay. Yeah.
I believe in my heart that the only purpose to all this is for us to love each other, which is why I believe everybody gets it wrong. So here's my opinion. My opinion is the only way to make sense of this whole thing is that we actively and aggressively love each other, connect with each other, and make this mess better.
Unconditionally?
Unconditionally. I don't care. There's no argument against love.
I have to agree with you. I mean, I read a book, Conversations with God, a long time ago, which changed my life. Yeah. I'm not, you know me, I'm not a religious person. However, God, in the book, stated that you're really born with two things, fear and love. Yeah. Everything stems from fear.
Everything comes out of that.
And I believe that.
Danny, man.
Hate, anger,
all of it
comes from fear.
All of it. And I believe in my heart. And I've been chewing on this for like the last 6 months. I believe in my heart that that's it. It's about finding a way to give something to the world, make the world better, do something that is meaningful and makes life better for people, and surround yourself with the people that you love and do loving stuff and be connected, and that's it. What else is there? What else could you possibly do?
Is there anybody out there, and I'm not asking you to name names, but is there anybody out there that you don't love? You don't have love for?
No, because what I've come to realize is everybody out there in the world is doing the best that they can possibly do. Yeah. It's as simple as that. You might be doing it wrong. I am doing it wrong. Mm-hmm. But I'm doing the best that I can do. Yeah. Right. Because everybody's doing what they've come up with as the idea how to make their life make sense. That's what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Even like people who are terrible at life. Like Donald Trump is terrible at life. Period. He sucks at life. You cannot argue that he doesn't suck at life. Mm-hmm. Okay? But even he's only being driven by what's going on in his head. It's not his fault. You can't blame. You see what I'm saying? Like,
do you bring him over for Thanksgiving or Christmas dinner?
I don't want to kick it with him, but just because I don't want to kick it with it doesn't mean I don't love him
or have a level of love for him. And so, yeah, I mean,
my goal. Because think about it like this, and in my life, because I am such a difficult person. I rub some people the wrong way. You and I have known each other for well over 20 years. Mm. You know this, right? It's probably been like 30 years, right?
I mean, We graduated in 94. We started kicking it in 93.
Yeah, but we knew each other before.
Oh, my goodness. We've known each other since...
Probably first or second grade or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know whatever year we... You know, when you're little, you got like pods, and if you're in that pod with somebody... But we had to have been in the same pod.
We've known each other.
And
so you're 45?
45. So it's probably been...
40 years,
man. Yeah, probably. So, okay. But you know as well as I know, I'm relatively polarizing. For people that know me personally, that people love me, there are people that are like, nah, I'm not messing with him. And I will say this with 100% certainty. There isn't a person out there that I have any level of ill will toward at all. There's nobody on earth that I want to see fail, that I want to see fall. Because why? Why would that? Like, because there have been times when I've had like what people would consider beef with people, like particularly like, you know, because nasty divorce, so you got your ex-wife's whole family. Right, the whole, the stuff that happens, life stuff happens. And I remember like when in the beginning of Dara and I's relationship, when we broke up, right before we got married, we broke up, and that caused rifts and stuff like that. And then you got family members that are feeling some kind of way and stuff like that, saying stuff and blah, blah, blah. Through all of that, there's not a single person that I feel anything negative toward. Now, what I do recognize is there are people who sometimes feel negatively toward me. Like there are people out there who get mad at things I've said on Facebook. And they feel some kind of way and unfriend me or call me names and stuff like that, inbox me, you think you're this and that and blah blah blah, and I get it, but it's just not that deep. It's not that important. Like in my opinion, life is about connecting with people and loving people and making the world better. And so if you're mad at me at something I did yesterday, then you're focused on the wrong stuff.
Yeah. Because
what I did yesterday probably isn't that important. Now, okay, if yesterday I punched your kid in the mouth, or I had sex with your wife, or which I didn't, so it doesn't matter because I know I ain't doing that. But I'm saying if I did, then by all means, be mad at me.
Right.
But if I said something you don't like, why do you even care?
That doesn't hurt. That hurts one person, and that's it.
Right. I mean,
the person that's mad at you.
And the fact of the matter is, it doesn't have to hurt them. Mm-hmm. If you say something to me that I don't like what you said. That has nothing to do with who you are.
Yeah. But you're good at, and I think we tried to figure this out. Do we feed off of each other? Like, you hold me accountable.
Right.
So I feel like I can hold you accountable.
Right.
But I don't know what came first. Is that just something that we naturally fell into? But as we're growing and learning more about who you are, I think that came from you, man.
I think
I adjusted.
I think what it is that my way of seeing the world is different than most people. And you, for whatever reason, decided to come along for the ride.
I agree with you, though. Because the things you say, I don't agree with everything you say.
Right.
Everything you do. But your basic philosophy of life, yeah, I'm with that.
And I hope what that means is, well, no, I firmly believe I'm right. I mean, and maybe that's my fatal flaw, but I'm telling you, I can't find the logical argument against just love everybody. Yeah, and truthfully, that philosophy and that has come recently, that came from you. Mm-hmm. We've had that conversation. Because you were doing, there was a time when you were doing a lot of like religious exploration, trying to figure out all this stuff, and you kept coming back to like be loving, that kind of thing, and it just hit me when you were saying it. I was like, I think that's it. That's all that matters, because everything else, it's insignificant, right? But I tell you what, here's the mind-blowing thing, and this is what I wanted to talk about. What I wanted to talk about really today is that I've come to the conclusion that I get what's wrong with our country is broken. right? And I think COVID exposed that.
Trump exposed it.
Nah, I'm not blaming Trump. Nah.
We could have that conversation.
Yeah, we can have that conversation, but I'm not blaming Trump because...
he's not all to blame, of course. He's a symptom.
Because it's been broken for a long time.
Yes, it's been broken, but he exposed it. He exposed the weaknesses in
yes, I'll give you that. Yes.
Judicial system.
Yeah, he is what happens when all fail-safes fall apart.
Right.
You get Donald Trump.
Yeah.
But I'm convinced that we have Donald Trump because the bigger problem in America is a bad idea. That's what I've come up with. I've been thinking about this for a while, and I believe that I've been chewing on this, and I think I'm right. America's a bad idea. I certainly never imagined I'd have a baby on my hands at 44. My first child was born when I was 17. And with my oldest daughter being grown now, and my son being 15, I thought I'd be an empty nester by 50. I figured I'd be traveling, living the life. But life doesn't always go as planned. I got divorced and remarried to a woman 10 years younger than me, and she wanted kids. So here we are. Age 44, brand new baby. I thought it might be cool to document some of my time with the baby and what I learned from it. I know I'm supposed to be teaching her about the world, but it sure does feel like I'm the one learning. The life expectancy of an African American male is somewhere around 70 years, which means I'm definitely on the back nine. This vlog will be a record of my journey to relearn fatherhood on the back nine. Okay, so the idea of America, the idea is like this, like freedom, right? It's the idea of like
the American dream.
The American dream is all about free market capitalism and the ability of any given person to do whatever they could think of to do to prosper.
And
right?
You own it.
That's right. That's the idea. But it's a bad idea. And I'm going to tell you why. It's a bad idea because it's incomplete. So they're saying you're completely free, right? To do as you wish in order to make life better for yourself. That's the American dream. You know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, go from poverty to wealth. And that's what they sell in America, is the idea that one could do that. But the problem is that they don't couple that with any value system other than valuing success.
Yes. And
right?
There's no limit to how much one can make.
That's exactly right. So, and I said this on the last episode when I was spinning this idea out by myself. It's like America is similar to an all-you-can-eat buffet. But an all-you-can-eat buffet has a set of assumptions that everybody knows. Yeah. Right? The assumption is, okay, but just eat whatever you can actually eat. You don't, I mean, nobody would take all the food.
Right.
And if you did, everybody would be like, you're a jerk. Right? Why would you do that? People would shame you. If you literally went up to the buffet and like grabbed the cart, instead of grabbing a plate, you just grabbed the cart and like started walking it over to your table, people would be like, what are you doing?
That's a good point.
But American capitalism, it's the same thing, except for without that set of assumptions. No one says to Jeff Bezos, what are you doing? Why? What are you going to do with all that money?
Yeah. You're right.
So, and then think about it. In America, our value system is such that you literally we as a culture value wealth more than we value people. And the proof of that is that every time Jeff Bezos or Oprah Winfrey or Jay-Z or any of these billionaires, right? Choose any billionaire you want to choose. There's no question. They have to be walking through the world, walking right past homeless. That you have to. You cannot live in Atlanta or LA or any of the places that they live and not walk past poor people living under the bridge. Right? Now think about this for a second. and I'll pick on Oprah because Oprah is famous for like giving stuff away, and you get a car, you get all that stuff, right? But imagine Oprah leaves her house and and she's going to lunch. Let's say her and Jeff Bezos are going for brunch. They probably aren't. They're probably not kicking it. But in my analogy, they are. So Oprah gets out of her car, and on her way into the restaurant, she walks past a homeless person who's living on a piece of cardboard on the sidewalk. She sees him. Let's say she walks right past him. Let's say she gives him $100 bill. Okay? She walks past knowing on some level that she could choose to make him wealthy. Mm-hmm. If she wanted to. Mm-hmm. She's a billionaire. Yeah. She could hand him $250,000 and now he has more money than like 80% of Americans. Mm-hmm. Right? Stroke of a pen, she changed his life and solved a problem. Because the fact that that guy is poor is a problem. Yeah. Right? It is a problem that exists in our universe. Yeah. Right? She could literally solve that problem and not even feel it. Because if a billionaire gives you $250,000, it's like me giving you $10. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right.
Proportionally, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay? Because I don't have any money. But I would give you $10 if you asked me for it. If you were like, man, I'm hungry, but I forgot my wallet. You know I would give you $10. You go to Wendy's and get yourself some food. Mm-hmm. But not only does she not do that, our culture doesn't even suggest that she should.
Mm-mm. In fact, we look at the homeless guy and make excuses for the reason why
right.
he or she is sitting on that cardboard box.
You convince yourself, man, but he made better choices and blah, 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 which most of us know is not true, mm-hmm. right? But our culture is such that when she's walking by him, she says, well, theoretically, now this is all happening in a split second, mm-hmm. understand. Theoretically, I could give him $500,000 if I wanted to. That changes his life. He could get himself together. That gives him a solid couple years to get himself together. Whatever issues he might have, he could remediate them. I give him $500,000. If I gave you $500,000 and said go anywhere in the world you want, you could choose to live in Washington, Pennsylvania. You could buy a house for $60,000. And you live on the rest of that money for pretty much the rest of your days. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you literally could solve a problem. The problem is gone now, mm-hmm. right? But she has to say, I could do that, but then I'd have $500,000 less dollars. Mm-hmm. Now, my question is, so what?
That's a good question. I mean, we've talked about this
right.
before where you have this, I'm going to call it a crazy idea, but I understand it in theory. You want to give everybody $1 million.
Listen, if I had the money, everybody's getting literally everyone. If I had the money.
You talking about every American?
Yeah, because I live here, yeah. right? But if I had the checkbook, you're all getting money. And I'm going to tell you why. Because poverty is a dumb idea.
It is. I don't know who it helps.
Poverty is dumb, okay? It's just that simple. And anyone who says I'm lying has never been poor. Poverty is dumb. Yeah. It's a bad idea. Yeah. But, yes, that's what I would do. And if I were Oprah, if I were Jeff Bezos, there wouldn't be any poor people near me. Why? Because I was raised right and I know how to share. Right? So, think about this. American culture is such that we are encouraged to throw away the values that we are all taught as a kid.
Jesus. I mean, we learn about Jesus sticking up for the poor.
Listen,
I mean, what?
So you don't even have to go to Jesus. I'm gonna get to Jesus in a second, but you're right. But I'll go more basic because there are people who don't believe in Jesus.
Yeah.
Right. So you're in first grade. I said this last time, whatever that was, mm-hmm. 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
You're in first grade. You're at the playground. Your teacher told you be nice, share, play together. I know you were told that. There's no question you were told that, right? And if you ran up on the playground and you saw one little kid with, what is that? Oh, that's the GoPro. Yeah. We don't even need that. But you run up on the playground, you see a kid with all the toys. He done bought the swing set. He owns the slide. He got a lease agreement for the sandbox, and he got all the toys. He got the baseball bat and the glove, and he got the basketball. He owns it all. everybody else is sitting in the corner crying. You walked up on that, you would smack that kid in the head.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you should know better than that.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're charging them to go down the slide?
Yeah.
Boy,
yeah.
Give me all the money you took and give me all them toys.
Yeah.
And you would distribute them all. You know you would. Any parent out there would do that.
Right.
But you become an adult in America.
Right. Changes.
It changes everything. Because it's that we value success. The idea, this I figured it out. I've been thinking about this. You know, I sit in my hot tub at night, I look at the stars, and I think. And I came up with this. America, you know what America's like? America's like, remember when we were kids? You're playing with your friends, and one of your friends says, I got an idea. Let's play this game. And then they make up a new game. Okay? And so if in my life, it would be my brother. My brother was always the one with the like wild imagination. Here's what we're going to do. And he would tell everybody exactly what they got to do. So, right. So you're a little kid. You're 10. You're always playing freeze tag or whatever. And then somebody says, nah, I want to play this new game I got. And they tell you that. So imagine this. Someone says, all right, let's do this. Let's play this game where you can have as much money as you want to have. All you got to do is figure out a way to make money. Okay. All right, that's it. Yeah. You can make as much money as you want to make. Well, all right, well, are there going to be rules about it? No, not really. Oh, so what's the point of the game? I mean, just make as much money as you want to make. And then when you make a whole bunch of money, you can pretty much do whatever you want to do.
And then you're laughing at the people who ain't got it.
That's right. That's the game. But see, when you're a kid, what happens? Here's how it works. You start playing that game for a little while. And then you realize how dumb that game is. And then eventually somebody's like, hey man, this game is dumb. I don't want to play this game no more. This is dumb. Let's stop this. Let's play something. Let's play hide and seek. Because this game is dumb. Right? And then everybody goes, yeah, I mean, it's kind of true, man. I'm not trying to be a hater, but this game is dumb. And then, you know, somebody get their feelings hurt because they had the idea of this game and they liked it. And it's usually the one who's sitting in the corner with all the stuff. With all the money. Right? Because he won everything. Right? But everybody else is like, yeah, but I didn't. So I'm like, okay, so what happens in America is we're still playing this game. Yeah. Even though everybody knows it's dumb. Like think about it. Look around. Can you really make the argument that this idea made sense? No. Right? So you know, you go back to the Revolutionary War, and then they're saying, all right, what are we going to do? We somehow win this war. Unlikely win. We win this war, and they're sitting around, whoever it is. Like I just watched Hamilton, so in my mind, it's, you know, Alexander Hamilton and all these dudes. They're getting together. They're writing the Federalist Papers. They're saying, here's what we should do. Okay, and then we did it. But now here we are, a couple hundred years later, and it's not working. It's a bad idea because look at it.
Greed.
There are billionaires and there are literally people who have nothing, right? And they live right beside each other, and it's cool because our culture values success. So if you if you found a way to succeed, cool. And if you walk past homeless people every day and go to the bank and count your money, no one's going to think twice about that. No one's going to, well, there are people who will look down upon you, but they are in the minority because most people in America value success. And success in America means money, right? And so it's a bad idea because, like I said, we created this idea of like this free market, you're allowed to be as successful as you want without embedding within it a culture that values each other. Right. Values people. So my belief is that, okay, if you want to have this whole free market capitalism thing, that's fine. I mean, I guess if you want, but in my opinion, I would want a culture in which the only benefit of that is you get as much money as you need to make, and then you just, it'd be like the buffet. Think about it. you pay your $29.99 and you go to the buffet, right? They just bringing you food. They're just piling food onto your plate. Once you get full, you do one of two things. You start giving your food to the people at your table, or you stop eating. Mm-hmm. And then you tell the waiter, like, I'm good, thank you, man, I appreciate it, but I'm stuffed. Yeah. But in America, and America's not unique in this sense, because there are other places that do this, but there are places that don't. There are cultures that don't value money in this way. Yeah. But in America, and in any country that any place, any culture that values monetary gain like this, what happens is when you get enough to be full, you just start stockpiling. And you stockpile. This is the idea in America. And this is the universally accepted idea. I'm going to make as much money as I can make. I'm going to sit on it until I die. Mm-hmm. And then when I die, I'm going to give it to my 2 or 3 kids. Mm-hmm. Who are going to be...
It's called... whatever. But
generational wealth, or there are lots of names. For it, yeah. But the idea is, I'm going to stack up my money and I'm going to leave it to my kids. When I die, when I'm 90 and my son is 60, I'm going to hand the money to him. Mm-hmm. And then he can keep it for another few years, and he'll put that whatever he made, and then he going to give that to his kids. Mm-hmm. Are you serious? Yeah. So after 200 years, you will have affected like 7 lives? Are you serious?
And it's not just the money that they're passing down, but the resources.
Money, resources,
status,
knowledge, everything.
Yeah.
Right. So that the people who are born with nothing, if you happen to be born with nothing and born to people who don't have novel ideas or skills, mm-hmm. you can go generation after generation after generation and have nothing. Nothing. And what's so difficult is because in America we value money, we have monetized certain things, right? So certain things are of more value in America. If you are born 7 feet tall with kinesthetic intelligence, you're going to be a millionaire. Mm-hmm. If you are born with a pretty face, a nice backside, you're going to be very, very wealthy. Mm-hmm. Right? If you think about it, if you are the prettiest person in America, you're going to make a whole bunch of money. Yeah. If you are the best at dribbling the ball, you're going to make a whole bunch of money. Because we can monetize those things. There's an entertainment value to those things. But let you be the best 3rd grade teacher in America.
You get ignored.
You'll top out at 75, 80, 100 grand.
Mm-hmm. They make that much? 3rd grade teachers?
If you're there 30 years and you work,
I don't think they were coming close to that.
You can make, you can at the right school district. You're gonna top out though. Think about that. You top out. You're the best 3rd grade teacher in America. You top out at a salary that isn't even half of the league minimum in football, which means that if you are in the top 200 or so football players in America, you're going to make more than the very best 3rd grade teacher in the entire country. Now think about what that says.
Yeah, the message that it sends.
Right. Think about what we value, because that's what it means. It means we value a pretty good football player more than we value a great educator. And I believe in my heart that is the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that. You're exactly right. There's a movie, the movie itself wasn't great, but on Netflix, I know you don't watch movies and stuff, but it's called The Platform, I think. Okay. It's about a vertical prison. Okay. The people, so this round shaped prison, and it just goes straight up and down, and each level there's floors. Right. And down the middle of this is a food tray. Okay. So they feed them this enormous spread, like made by the best chefs in whatever country they're in, and they just pile this thing on. It starts at the top and it works its way down. Okay. The people at the top are taking all the best.
Right.
And they're not just taking it and eating it right now, they're stacking it away.
That's
just
exactly
like what you were saying
Yep.
earlier. So you can imagine what the bottom looks like.
Right.
They get nothing.
You get nothing.
Bones.
You get scraps.
Yep.
Yep. And that's America.
That is America.
And not only is that how it works, that's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
This is not an accident. This is by design. This, like I said, some dudes, and they were, understand, we're talking wealthy, heterosexual, white dudes.
Mm-hmm. Writing the laws.
Writing the laws. Saying, here's what we should do. And my only question, my only problem is, why are we still doing it? I mean, and that's why I said, I want an economist, a political scientist. I need, if you're listening out there, listen, if you're listening out there and you are an expert in this, come on to my show and school me on this. Because, well, here's my question. Here's what I don't understand. Why are we still doing this? This is dumb.
What's the alternative?
I don't, that's why I want an expert to come on. I understand human psychology. Mm-hmm. And I could tell you why you feel the way you feel about the stuff that you feel. I got that all day. But what I don't understand, I truly don't understand why we're still doing this. This is a dumb idea. America's a dumb idea.
Capitalism.
Yeah, right.
You're rolling that all under the same.
Right. Because that, in my opinion, that is the only thing that is interesting about America. Because we talk about being this melting pot, but that's a lie. Mm-hmm. We don't value the melting pot.
Mm-mm. No, we don't.
No, because when as soon as it started being people of color melting into the pot, everybody started going crazy. Mm-hmm. We don't need them coming over here. That doesn't even make any sense. Mm-mm. That's a ridiculous idea.
Yeah.
This is literally, first of all, this was already somebody else's rock when we got here. But and we don't even want to talk about that. I don't understand that. We don't want to talk about that. But then on top of that, so then everybody migrated to America. Everybody who's here that isn't Native American migrated to America. Okay. And theoretically, what I didn't know until recently is there were apparently black people here long before like Columbus and all of them. I didn't know that. I just saw this very recently. So somebody schooled me. And that's another thing I really wish that people would be able to acknowledge. People need to acknowledge when they don't know stuff. People really struggle with not knowing stuff. Yeah, they just be making stuff up.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently so apparently there were some Africans here long ago, and don't get me in here lying. So, but if you're not in that category, people who are so you're migrating here. So we're a country of immigrants that all of a sudden doesn't like immigrants.
Yeah, right. Black and brown.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I don't buy the whole melting pot. I don't buy it.
No, it's garbage.
No, because when it was Syrian refugees trying to get here because their bomb going off in their backyard, we don't need them here. Well, who we need then? You want somebody to come from Sweden?
Yeah, and love fixes all of that.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we were a country of loving people, we'd be saying, come on, man, we got you. All right, give me a hug. Hug it out.
Yeah.
Right? That's what I would want. I would want a country where we just value each other, where we just love each other unconditionally. And more importantly, we do that and then and we change the value system so that valuing wealth is no longer a thing. Here's what I want. I want a country in which wealth, extreme wealth, not just wealth, because regular old wealth, I don't got a problem with that. I'm trying to get to that. Extreme wealth would be embarrassing. Mm-hmm. I would want a country where being a billionaire would be like having genital warts. Mm-hmm. Like you really wouldn't want to tell somebody. Like on a first date, you're a billionaire. You meet this girl, she's fine, and you're sitting there eating, and you're like, I think I really like this girl. I gotta tell her. Yeah. Like I got something to tell you. she's like, what? Is anything? It's cool. You're like, I just don't know how to say this.
I got too much money.
I'm a billionaire. and she'll be like, I thought you were different.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I saw you drive up in the Maserati. I just figured maybe it was a gift. I didn't know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's what I want.
Can we get that though?
I believe.
We talked about this. I think you need to put some laws into place.
No. I don't think it can be laws. I don't think you can legislate this.
What about capping how much money a person
So here's the thing. You already know my philosophy. I believe I'm going to cap my income. Okay?
You will do it yourself.
I will do it myself. Okay. I will, and mark my words. I got a number in my head that I believe I don't want to go beyond it because that's ridiculous. That makes me greedy. And my number is my number, right? And believe me when I tell you I'm nowhere near my number. But my philosophy of life is you get to, so my number, I'll just tell you, my number is $10 million. I believe that no person in their right mind needs any more than $10 million. Here's why. I feel like Dara and I can live on half of that, okay? For the entirety of our life. I'm going to make, if just doing what I do right now, from now until when I'm 65, I'll make a few $1 million, okay? Let's say I'm going to make $3 million over the course of the next 20 years. Because I'm 45, I'll work. If I work till 65, it's going to be like $3 million. So Dara's going to make something similar to that. So she and I, we got $5-6 million to kick it with. We're fine. Couple million for the kids, to put aside for the kids, right? That's $10 million. That's $10 million, and I'm cool and my kids are millionaires.
What does that get you?
But what I'm saying...
Why are you saying that? Like, why are you saying that's all you feel like you need?
My point is, if someone handed me $100 million right now, I believe I would only need 10 of it, and I could give the rest away.
And you would give the rest away.
Listen, Dara and I regularly have this argument. Because she's like, you can...
She don't think...
She's not with it.
No.
Not close. She said, you can give away your half, but you ain't giving away my half. But I believe in my heart. You hand me 100... See, that's why I will never win the lottery. Because they're not going to give $100 million to somebody like me. Because I bet you there won't be no poor people near me.
Yeah.
Because here's my thing. If I got $100 million in the bank, and you're poor, what does that say about me?
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Because think about it. You and I, in our life, we've both had hard times. But if there was any given day, I don't care where you are in the world, if there's a day when I say to you, I don't have money to eat, you know what you would do.
Every time.
Every single time.
No matter how much I got.
No matter what. So my thing is, if it ever gets to those kinds of numbers, and I'm really literally dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars, or even tens of millions of dollars, I'm going to stack up enough money so that my life is cool and my kids are cool. Beyond that, I'm going to make sure the neighbors are cool. I'm going to make sure extended family are cool. Yeah. And then I'm going to just start, like, helping people.
But how do you block that out? How are people able to... How is Oprah... I don't want to keep using Oprah.
No, it's not Oprah's fault. Because Oprah's actually
yes, generous.
She's super generous. Yeah. LeBron James, super generous. There are people out there who are doing amazing things. It's our culture. We value wealth so much that you don't even have to think all that hard about it, because everybody values the stuff that you value. So it works. So think about it. Think about it like this. If Oprah Winfrey or Jeff Bezos or LeBron James, they get out of their $200,000 car, they're wearing their $1,000 shoes, and they walk to brunch that they're going to drop $300 on, $500 on, and they walk past a homeless person. Our culture makes it so that they don't even have to think about how weird that is. But you know and I know that same set of circumstances in 5-year-olds, and you're going to yell at that 5-year-old.
Yeah, you're exactly
for being a bad person. But it's our culture. Our culture values wealth more than people. And so it's the same thing think about slavery. Slavery only could possibly happen in a scenario where you value money more than you value people. Because it was literally people being sold. The only way that makes any sense is when you're in a system where they say, just make as much money as you want to make. You mean to tell me I can do I can do anything? So I could just grab those people and make them my slaves and make a bunch of money off of the work that they do and not pay them. You're telling me I can do that? Yeah, if you want. It only makes sense in a system where you value money more than you value people. That is the only paradigm in which that could ever happen.
Yeah, I mean, and at this point, yes, it's just second nature.
And so my philosophy, my belief is that we would need a culture change. We would need to change fundamentally the culture of America. And in my opinion, it's going to have to be somebody out there in the world does it. By example.
Yeah, I disagree. We've had this. I disagree. I think they're easy to overlook.
You're right about that, and I'm afraid that you might be right, because every time I turn on YouTube and I see some story about some basketball player who like buys homes for single moms or something like that, and
all the time.
you'll hear the story, you'll be like, oh, that's cool, and you'll go on about your business. But I believe in my heart that if the Oprah Winfreys and LeBron Jameses and all the big names that you know of, the Bill Gateses of the world, who you already know do really cool stuff, if they all suddenly started like very publicly and very aggressively just fixing stuff, I think it would spark something. Because think about this. You think we couldn't have an overarching shift in our culture, but we have. We've seen it in the last 10 years. Facebook changed the world. Facebook changed us fundamentally.
Yeah.
And not in a good way. Right? But the ability to see what everybody else is doing changed everything. But it also gave us the ability to change our culture.
Yeah.
Social media made it so that it's actually possible now. You could change the culture of America. But what it would be is you would have to make it so, this is what I believe. You make it so that like people don't have problems anymore, and they're going to just do the right stuff. When I moved from Washington, Pennsylvania to Upper St. Clair, I just noticed that the people seemed happier. And it's not because, I don't think they were happier because they're rich people are just happier. I don't think that's true. What's true though is being in survival mode changes the way you think.
Yeah.
There's studies done about this, about the trauma of poverty, right? So you go into any, super poor town in West Virginia or the Deep South or wherever, it doesn't matter where, Detroit, Chicago, people are in survival mode. You change that, you make it so that they're cool, they're flush now, like they're good.
Yeah, crime goes down.
Everything.
I just don't.
Think about it. Think about this. I've thought about this. Like our hometown, Washington, Pennsylvania, we have like 1 or 2 homeless shelters there, right? So there, let's say there are, I don't know, I might be way off, but let's say there are 50 homeless people in Washington, PA. But there are also lots and lots of vacant properties. So if you had, let's say you had $5 million to spare, you could end homelessness in that town. It wouldn't even be difficult because you can buy a house for $40,000 in Washington, and it's not even going to be that bad of a house. Okay, it's going to be decent, right? So you buy 50 of them. Do the math. I'm terrible at math. Okay, but let me just say, let's see, 50 G's, 50 people. That's $2.5 million. So that means you bought houses for 2.5. Let's say you take another $500,000 and fix them up, make them nice or whatever, and then you give everybody that you're dealing with, you give them couple dollars. $5 million, and you ended homelessness in a town. Now you mean to tell me there's no one?
Yeah, someone can do it. The problem is though, it's just an incomplete thought because there's so many things that would need to be fixed.
Yeah, but
the system is still in place.
But there are so many people, too. If it's Batman doing it, yeah, he's got a problem. If it's Iron Man, one person with a whole bunch of money, you got a problem. But think about it. What if all the wealthy people in America suddenly said, you know what we should do? We should just fix it. We should, because think about it. What you're saying, you're look at all the problems that exist in America. The only reason that idea makes any sense is that we've agreed that no one would actually fix them.
Yeah, you're right.
That's what it is. Because think about it. When you worked in social services, how many times in any given week did you say, oh my goodness, if it just worked differently than this, if we had a way to get this nice old lady her prescriptions, she wouldn't be off her meds, which means she wouldn't be having all these symptoms, running around naked in the street, causing problems, blah, blah, blah. But the medicine is expensive and she doesn't have insurance. Too bad she doesn't have a rich uncle. But what if everybody had a rich uncle?
Yeah, man. Right. There's still, like, to talk about the problems of police and policing and neighborhoods.
Right.
If all the police collectively got together and was like, let's stop shooting and killing black people all the time,
it would just end.
Not necessarily, because you still have the judicial system in place, you still have poverty in place, all of these things work.
But here's the thing. Slowly but surely, a lot of problems would go away. And because a lot of those problems go away, it becomes a ripple.
Yeah, and it would take generations.
Yeah, it's not gonna. You're not gonna fix the world in a week.
Yeah, but you gotta drop that pawn into the pebble first, or that pebble into the pawn first.
Right.
And start that ripple.
You have to start the ripple. And what I'm saying is, if Oprah said, you know what we should do? We should just start fixing stuff. And then LeBron sees Oprah do it. And then Jay-Z sees LeBron do it. And then Bill Gates sees whatever. Like it's a ripple. If everybody who has more than their 10 million says, I'm going to use my money to fix problems, it'd be a whole lot of problems get fixed. Now, there'd be some problems that stay, but it would just be a better world. Because think about it. Think about it like this. I'm Mark Cuban, okay? I got a whole bunch of money. I wake up on any given day. I think to myself, what do I do today? I could end poverty in some small neighborhood. I could choose a neighborhood and give everybody in it $250,000. Or, and then here's my question. What or is better than that? There ain't no or that's better than that.
Well, the argument is going to be made. I've had a conversation about this with my brother, something along these lines here. But his argument was, you can't get, so you give somebody $1 million and they say, I'm going to go gamble all of that away.
Yeah.
My argument back was, that's going to be rare for the most part. I don't think most of the people are just going to be like,
well, and I'm not
their money on drugs.
And I'm not saying hand somebody $1 million and walk away. I'm saying fix the problem.
Yes, right. That's the key right there. You have to be able to fix all of the support around it.
What I'm saying is, if I'm LeBron James, if I'm Jay-Z and Beyonce, if I'm Bill Gates, I'm starting a foundation. I'm starting my business. My nonprofit has a couple social workers working there. So when I hand you your free house, I also check in with you. Or not me personally, I don't got time. But my social worker calls you and asks you how you're doing. Mr. Johnson, everything going okay? We understand, that the house that you bought had some plumbing issues. I just want to make sure everything's cool. Like, you good? And he says, no, actually, I still can't find a job. Oh, why didn't you call us? Hold on, I'm going to put you on the phone with John, who's the employment specialist, and he has a list of the wealthy people who own businesses who have agreed to hire our people.
Yeah.
If we all of a sudden work together toward fixing stuff, this all changes. Because the resources exist. Yeah. They do exist. There are agencies that do it. But what if my wealth did it? Right? Because we're always talking about the government. Think about it like this. This is what made me think about this. You talk about black people and reparations, right? Because a lot of black people talk about reparations, including me. Reparations for what America has done to black people, okay? To African people. And it's a reasonable thing to say, but it ain't never going to happen. Why? Because people don't care enough to make it happen. But what if black people, what if African people in America who have won just did it themselves?
Who have won?
Won. W-O-N. Won.
What?
You're winning. In a capitalist society, winning means making money.
I see what you're saying. Okay.
Okay.
So LeBron James.
That's why I'm always using them as an example. Because in my mind, my paradigm, this is where it came from. Because W.E.B. Du Bois came up with the idea of the talented tenth. When slavery ended, he said, this is what we're going to have to do. We're going to have to get the best and brightest of us to go out into the world and learn certain things, and then rise up the ranks, and then you can show us. You can lead the way, right? And here we are. That was in like 1900.
3, I think.
Yeah. So here we are, 120 years later or whatever, right? And I imagine, this is me, I'm imagining that Dubois and Booker T are somewhere, whether it's heaven or whatever, it don't matter, I don't care. They're somewhere right now looking down on us going, these, yes, what are you doing?
Yeah.
What?
I said this shit 120 years ago.
Look, like this, look. Listen, Michael, I appreciate that you are really good. And that's cool. You make shoes, you bought a basketball team. But this dude does not have food. What are you doing? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, because this, I tell you what, this came from a Facebook conversation. I was talking about the talented. I was like, I'm always like, are you team Booker T or are you team Dubois? And somebody was like, there were some people who were really pushing back against the idea of the talented 10th because it feels elitist, right? And I was like, I don't understand. I mean, I guess on some level maybe it is elitist because you're saying the best and brightest of us needs to go blah blah blah. But I'm like, but they're going to be the best and the brightest regardless of whether you say it or not, right?
Yeah.
But what was said to me was essentially, and it's the truth, the talented 10th. The problem is they didn't come back and help the rest, and that's the truth. And what was scary for me as I really thought about it was, what if we're the talented 10th? What if it's us, right? I have a PhD in psychology. I'm not going to tell you how much money I make, but I make good money, right? I'm the best and the brightest. I'm not a millionaire, but I'm doing well. So what if he was talking to me? I'm sitting here like thinking about like what should Oprah do, but what if it's my job?
Yeah.
What if I'm supposed to be out fixing like my hometown because that's where I'm from?
I mean, there are. I'm sure he was speaking of levels and layers.
Exactly. So my point is, if he's sitting there and Booker T's like, I told you, I tried to tell you, they wasn't gonna do it,
right.
And he's going, damn, what are you doing? No, man, come on.
Yeah.
He's looking at us like, I can't even believe this.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's over 100 years. And these fools buying basketball teams and they buying, cars and how, right? Yeah. So you take that philosophy and you extrapolate it and you put it over top of America in general. You got Bill Gates is in the world. You got Jeff Bezos is in the world. You got all these people who have won. And yet, there are also towns full of completely dirt poor people. And what I don't understand is how could you possibly feel good about yourself?
What is the psychology behind it? How can Jeff Bezos walk past a homeless guy and then sleep that night and get a full night's rest?
It's because our culture values success more than it values people. It's because in our culture, it doesn't matter how the other person is doing. That's not actually something you need to think about in America. I met this dude from Nigeria. One of my students from Nigeria explained this to me, that in his culture, he was like, you could put your child out when they turn 18 if you wanted to, but no one would do it because everybody would look down on you.
Yeah, you introduced me to that idea.
Yeah, it's the idea that you can do whatever you want to do, but who would do that?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's a culture shift. What I would want in America is a culture shift. I would want us to not value extreme wealth because the only benefit of money is what it can do for you. But once, think about it, Jeff Bezos has so much money that most of his money is useless.
It really is. It just sits there and collects dust.
The only benefit of that money is that it makes him more money.
It does.
But think about that. So what? That's like saying you got a whole bunch of oxygen. What you gonna do with it?
But if you don't put something in place to make him give up some of that money, he's not ever going to give that up.
But here's the thing. This is where human psychology comes into play. If you force people to do it, they won't want to do it. You tell them that they have to, they're going to resent it. It has to be a culture shift. It has to be that people simply want to. It has to be that...
I agree that's the most ideal.
I think it's the only way.
How you jumpstart that?
You jumpstart it. It has to be people. Here's my philosophy.
Like a collective.
Yeah, it has to be my thing. Here's what I hope. I hope Oprah hears this, because we keep on naming Oprah. If you're listening, I actually think you're one of my heroes. It's not your.
Listening.
Listen,
if you are.
Listen. Here's what you do, Oprah. If you want to know what my philosophy is like, send me $1 million. I swear it. I'm giving it all away.
That would be an interesting right there.
That's what would have to happen. It would have to be visible. Because people always talk about, like, you know, when you see somebody do some kind thing and then they upload a video of it to YouTube, a lot of people will be like, you just did it for the glory. Mm-hmm. I don't agree. I actually believe in order.
It doesn't matter anyway.
No, it doesn't matter. Because so what if you want it for the glory?
Mm-hmm.
So what if you want that glory and that's the only reason you did it? Who cares?
Yeah.
If I go and feed all the poor people in America for the glory, and I wear a t-shirt that says I fed all the homeless people, but they all got to eat, why do you even care?
Right.
Who cares?
It doesn't matter. I mean, that goes back to, is there a such thing as a selfless
act? There is no such thing as a selfless act.
I don't think there is.
Because when you do something kind, you get that rush of endorphins.
Yes.
It feels good. There's nothing selfless.
Right.
It is not selfless.
Right.
But what would have to happen is people would have to begin to act in this way in a very visible context. Right? That's the whole idea. My goal would be to make enough money. First, all right, let me stack my first 10. I'll put that off to the side. Now I'm good. Now there's, if I feel like you got $10 million in the bank, there's no logical, reasonable way you could ever be in trouble. Right? So, all right, let me stack mine. It's right there. We're good. Every bit of money I make after that, I'm giving it away. I'm buying people houses. I'm buying people cars. I'm buying essentials. I'm not buying you a jet.
Right.
But if you're living under the bridge and I walk past, you don't live under the bridge anymore.
What are essentials? What are people entitled to? Does everyone deserve a house? Does everyone deserve food?
I believe everyone should have a house, health care, food, and a job.
And access to education.
Ooh, yeah. I cannot leave that off. Yeah. And maybe if we talk about there might be some other things. But the ones that I believe if I had enough money, you could end homelessness. That's a problem you could fix. There are a lot of problems you can't, it's not as simple as it seems. But homelessness, you could fix that.
Yeah, you could.
You could fix that.
There's enough.
Yeah.
We got enough. We have enough resources in this. And money.
There are if you go to D.C., you know how many empty buildings there are? Turn them into apartments and give them away.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What's it called when an apartment becomes a condo? Right?
What are you talking about when they become?
Like when you can own it. When it becomes I forget how. There's a name for it. Somebody think of it. When they turn them into condos so you can actually buy them. It's still like, they're units, but you can own it. Do that.
Yeah.
Buy up the dilapidated buildings, fix them up, and give them away.
Now, what do you do with the people who don't take care of their property?
See, I believe in my heart, if you gave people a place to live, and you gave them a job, and you provided infrastructure so that their mental health needs, their drug and alcohol addiction issues were addressed, I don't believe that people would just tear their stuff up.
I agree with you, man. I don't know why people are so focused on the have-nots.
Yeah.
People leeching off the system, but what about them?
Yeah, and here's the thing. When you go to the hood is a function of our system, the way our system works. Our system works in a way that makes a person that has nothing, feel like nothing. Because America values wealth and success. So if you have neither, you feel like you're useless, you're worthless, like it doesn't matter. So then who cares if my house is trash?
Yeah.
But you hand somebody $100,000 and a house and a job, and you say, call this number if you have any troubles. We got you.
Yeah. I believe people would want to contribute to the society.
More often than not only will that person take care of their stuff, but they're going to come back and help you.
I Absolutely. They're going to pay it forward.
They're going to pay it forward.
Because that will become the new way of thinking.
Because I was poor 20 years ago, 24, 25 years ago, I was poor.
I remember you having to go to churches to get money to keep your lights on.
Yeah, poor. Actual poor. Mm-hmm. Okay? And now I'm thinking the way I'm thinking. Why? Because systems were in place to infuse resources into my life. I became a doctor. I'm cool in the gang now. And I feel compelled. I feel an urgent need and desire to help others.
I know. I could tell. It's almost in every conversation we have.
I can sense that. It's all I think about. Mm-hmm. Because and I'm going to tell you why. It's because of the way I think about the world. I process the world. I'm looking around. 99% of the time when I'm looking around and I'm thinking to myself, y'all are cool with this? Mm-hmm. This is what y'all came up with?
Mm-hmm. It's like you don't even see it.
I'm like, what is wrong with y'all that you think this makes some sense?
Yeah.
I don't understand. This is what I feel all the time. Like, what?
Yeah.
Are you serious? This is what y'all gonna do? We're still doing this. For real. Stop playing. We're doing this?
That's like a bad dream.
That's what it feels like. And so my thing is, let's just fix it. What if we just fixed it?
The idea of this collective, this group of people coming together and acting in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that could do it. That's that idea of synergy. Because the more people that add on, the stronger you get.
Because think about it. I didn't even finish the thought about reparations. So the government, we always talk about the government should do this and it would cost this much money, blah, blah, blah. But what if all the black people in America that had more than $10 million in the bank all just got together, let's have a meeting. Now, I mean, I'm not going to be invited, but if they had a meeting and they just said, you know what we should do? Let's get every black person in America to this level. How much would it take, fellas? I shouldn't say fellas because it's going to be some women in there. Oprah got more money. Who got more money, Oprah or Jay-Z and Beyonce?
Oprah.
Really?
I mean, if you add Beyonce onto that.
But I don't know. But they're all at the meeting, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're all at the meeting, and they say, all right, let's just get everybody right. Let's get everybody good. Because think about this for a second. If there was an earthquake at your house, and you're sitting at your desk working, and the earth shatters, and it's all shaking, and everything falls off your desk. You'd pick up all the stuff on your desk. You'd put your stuff back together. But then you'd immediately go upstairs. Roz, you good?
Yeah.
Cruz, where's Cruz?
Yeah.
And then you call Malia. Malia, are you okay?
Mm-hmm. And if I look out my window and I see them outside coughing
and
trying to get their stuff together, I'm going to go over there and
You would immediately go help.
Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do.
And everybody knows that. That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, we lose it somewhere.
But in our culture, because it's every man for himself, we don't do that. But what if we just said, you know what? This is dumb. This is a dumb game. I'm done playing this game.
So, all right, hold on. Let's back up a minute. So you get this room full of affluent black folks together.
Right.
To fix the problems. What are they going to do? Are they just handing out money?
No. You get the best and the brightest to come up with ideas. Get Cornell West, Michael Eric Dyson, and the best and brightest scholars. Michelle Alexander. You put them in a room. They're the ones that have been studying this forever.
Yeah, they know what to do.
They know what to do.
Yeah, they do.
Because here's the problem. The people like me who go and understand the problems, we tend to be over here understanding the problems. Mm-hmm. And then the P. Diddy's of the world over here, they're just over here living their lives. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they do what they can think of to do. LeBron James made a school, and Oprah Winfrey has made schools and done things. And that's cool, wonderful, good for you. But what if the resources that Jay-Z and Beyonce and Oprah and Tyler Perry, what if they had the resources and they agreed to give them to Michelle Alexander?
Yeah, that's how you make
it. It changes the world. It changes everything. But that's not what we do in America.
I don't have any hope that will play out that way. I don't have any hope at all, none, that we'll see an end to capitalism. Certainly not in our lifetime.
And I agree with you, except here's what I believe could happen. And if the universe is ever dumb enough to make me wildly successful, we're gonna find out. What you could do, I believe, is you could use capitalism against itself.
Explain that.
So because you're allowed to make as much money as you want to make, you can make as much money as you want to make. But we make the assumption that anyone who would do that, anyone who would engage in capitalism in that way, is a greedy person. But these two ideas are not mutually exclusive. Think about it. People, there are people in the world who give their every breath to helping the world. I'm one of them. Mary Jo Podgorski, Joyce Ellis. There are people in the world who give everything of themselves at all times. And those people tend to be the meek of the earth kind of people. Because they don't want to engage in money hungry, I'm going to go chase the glory, I'm going to chase the money type stuff. But what if a person came along that had the desire to help the world and had the means to make all the money? What if Jeff Bezos had Joyce Ellis's spirit?
Yeah, different world. We're definitely living
changes the
in
world.
A different world.
Right? And for those of y'all who don't know Joyce Ellis is his aunt, but it's also
cousin.
The aunt, she was your cousin? I thought she was your aunt. Okay. She was just
first cousin.
A wonderful person who just basically dedicated her life to helping people. But what if Jeff Bezos had Martin Luther King's heart?
He alone.
That's what I'm saying.
America.
There are people with that level of wealth.
He got it.
And so if the Jeff Bezoses of the world suddenly felt the way the Martin Luther Kings and the Mother Teresas of the world feel about the world changes.
Yeah, it does.
It's just that our culture makes it so that that's very, very unlikely. Because that's not what we value.
Yeah.
And so I read this book about, what was the book about? It was an economics book, and it wasn't that good. But in that book, this guy, it was a black economist, talked about the idea of multiple prerequisites. Okay? And what he said essentially was that any given thing that's going to bring you success is going to have multiple prerequisites. Okay? And what that means is there are several things that would need to be in place in order for this to work. And I don't care how bad you want it. If all these prerequisites are not in place, it ain't going to work. In other words, I wanted to go into politics. But in politics, you need either a bunch of money or a very strong network of people, and you also need to have some charisma and some good ideas, and you need to be very, very persistent and blah, blah, blah. Well, I'm very, very persistent. I've got some relatively good ideas. I do not have the money, and I do not have the network of people. So I lost in a primary to someone who I had no business losing to. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. I should have won, but I didn't because I don't have the prerequisites. So I ain't going to be in politics. Not then. Right? Maybe one day when I have all the rest of the prerequisites, maybe, but not today. And so that is what it is. If you want to be an NBA player, you're going to need to have world-class athleticism. You're going to have a certain build. You're going to have a certain work ethic. If you don't have all of them, the likelihood that you win is very, very little. Mm-hmm. I could think of two, Muggsy Bogues and Spud Webb, who didn't have, but they had athleticism to make up for the build, yeah. Right? And they had hustle to make up for the build. Same thing with what was it? Jerome Bettis was relatively short, right? Who was it? There was a short running back. I forget who it was.
I mean, my favorite New York Giant was Joe Morris, and he was very short.
Okay,
he's not the most famous.
Okay, but
Sanders.
There are examples of people who you would think that shouldn't have worked, but it does because they haven't, right? Mm-hmm. But there are multiple prerequisites, and if you don't have them, you simply will not win. Mm-hmm. And so this is so. In America, we value certain things, and if you have those things, you're going to be wealthy. And if you don't, you're not going to be wealthy. It's as simple as that.
It is as simple as that.
And it's really dumb because what that means is a person like your dad, who works hard. I guarantee you, your dad worked harder than Jeff Bezos.
I mean, serious.
It's not even a contest.
No, he stayed in it. Stayed in what? He did it all the time and had nothing to show for it.
I know plenty of people who would work circles around the wealthiest people you know.
Yeah.
And they're poor because the thing that they're good at isn't valued in America. And so what I would argue is that the people who have those things in America that make you wealthy, if those people also valued each other and the rest of us, it changes the world.
How do you what do you do with minimum wage? So someone who goes to McDonald's, I don't want to name any names, but I know some people who work at straight dead end jobs.
Right.
They have no motivation. They go to work, they come home.
But I don't have a problem with that.
Would you raise the minimum wage? How would you compensate for someone who goes 40 hours a week and works at McDonald's?
So you're getting into the details and the details are always going to be there. There's always going to be the problems. There's always going to be the stuff that you say, yeah, but what about this? Yeah. And so the minimum wage being what it is a function of greed, right? Because you go back to 1970 and you look at the minimum wage and then you see the cost of living and how it has increased, and the cost of bread, the cost of milk, blah, blah, blah. The minimum wage has not kept up with those costs. And so what that means is the people at the top, rather than passing out the money as more money came in, they just started keeping it for themselves. Mm-hmm. So the executives make all the money and now the people at the bottom don't. And so theoretically what would have to happen is you'd have to, the Walton families of the world would have to stop wanting to be greedy. Mm-hmm. Right? And so again, culture shift. You can't make them do it. And so you have to shift the culture so that McDonald's, so that Walmart knows, yeah, I could pay you $8 an hour if I want to, but I just don't want to. That's not cool.
Mm-hmm. But you wouldn't put that into law.
No, I wouldn't.
So you would say, yeah, you could technically. What is the minimum wage? $7?
It's like $7.25, I think.
That's crazy.
Right, but I mean, think about it.
You would keep that there.
I mean, in my perfect world, the politicians would fix those things again because they know they should. But first things first. I'm talking about essentials. You can make $8 an hour and live. It's not going to be fun, but it could be done. It's very difficult. I'm talking about first things first. You know, like there are people who don't have homes. There are people who don't have food. We got to fix that. That doesn't make any sense. It makes absolutely no sense that in a country where there are billionaires, there are also people who live under the bridge. That doesn't make sense. Unless you simply want to live under the bridge, you shouldn't live under the bridge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mean, I don't want to get it wrong, but I think there's 300 people in America, the top 300 make more than the bottom 55% or something like that.
The numbers are terrible. It's ridiculous.
About 300 people.
It's ridiculous. And what I'm saying is, American culture makes that okay. Now, and don't get me wrong, there will be people who say, yeah, but it's like that everywhere. It's not like that everywhere. It's like that a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. And I don't give a shit how much is happening. It ain't right.
It's not right. Right. It's not right.
No
matter where you go. I don't care if everywhere is like that. It's still wrong. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. But the fact of the matter is, it's not like that everywhere. There are places in Africa where people still, pick berries and eat them. You know what I mean? And that's life.
Yeah.
Right? There are, and it's always people of color. It's people with like old traditions. But the westernized world, it's all about greed.
Man, I'm gonna tell you. I'll be honest. I said it. I don't have high hopes for that changing.
And I think
that might be hell, man.
Yeah, but that's the difference between me and you is I look around at this and I'm like, I think we can fix this. I'm like, this is messed up. Nah. All right, well, let me call my friends. Let's, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, because I'm like, well, what else are you gonna do? You're just gonna spend 80 years on Earth just like looking around at this mess? Think about it. If you wake up in the morning and there was an earthquake and the house is destroyed, would you just be like, well, let me just clear off my bed?
No, it's time to get to work.
It's time to get to work. And in my opinion, the first step is acknowledging, all right, this is broken. We got to fix this. And so that's why I'm saying this was the idea I wanted to get out of my head. Is that America's a bad idea and we should stop doing it.
I mean, I agree with that. All day.
This is a terrible idea.
All day. You're writing a book about this, though, right?
I'm writing a book about wealth.
Black wealth.
Black wealth. Yeah, I'm writing a book about black wealth right now. Because that's a phenomenon in and of itself. Being one of the few black people who have money. Mm-hmm. And you know, let me be clear when I say I'm talking about relative wealth, not absolute wealth. There's a difference, right? But in America, having more money than most people changes life.
It does, man.
Yeah.
We talked yesterday, maybe. It's freedom.
It is, and you go. Did you read the book? Did you read Dream Hoarders?
Dream Hoarders.
I love that book.
Yeah.
I love that book. Dream Hoarders really, really kind of like hit me, and it breaks down the idea of why the relatively wealthy have it made in America, right? And I'm not talking about millionaires. I'm talking about people who make $130,000 a year or more in a household.
Yeah.
If you're making more money than like 80% of America if you make $130,000 a year right now. You and your partner together, you got a household income of $130,000. You make more money than 80% of Americans. That's ridiculous.
And I think Allegheny County, you're top 5%.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, but what that means is having access to like nice houses and nice neighborhoods and good schools and blah blah blah. It just sets up this system of advantages because America values wealth.
Yeah, yeah. And you don't even realize how. You don't always realize how much weight is being lifted off your shoulder.
Right.
You can walk outside and you can see neighbors out in the front yard cutting the grass or playing with their kids as opposed to hearing gunshots.
Listen, this is the thing. I was joking about this just last week because I live in like a straight suburb. They have parades over here like there's no tomorrow. They'll just be like, let's have a parade. Yeah. This is some white people stuff right here. Like it's the craziest thing ever. But it's like they know how to live.
Bro, they be stashing. There have been 3 different times in my life where I found a secret pool.
Listen,
a community pool where it's like, y'all get access to this?
They'll have a pool back in the cut. That,
way back behind the woods.
Yeah,
and all this.
Like, right. That only the people that live there know it even exists. And you've been walking past it every day. And you're like, are you serious?
Y'all got a pool.
When you were young and found out about Elmhurst, you're like,
man,
are you serious?
Shocked.
Y'all been going to the pool
this whole time.
And you ain't told me?
Nobody tell me about this. We go to school together.
So hot.
Yeah, man, but
so
you're right.
Hot.
They be doing it like that, man.
But what my point in that was, people who have relative, this is not like lap of luxury here. This is just, no, we have enough that we can, you know,
be comfortable.
They'll like decorate they'll get like costumes, like Disney costumes, and they'll decorate. I saw somebody last week. No lie, they had a float.
They made a float.
They made a float.
Stop it.
In their little community parade, there was a float with a band playing. I'm not lying. Now
that's good living.
That's good living. And you take that and you compare it to when I was living in Washington. If I left my car unlocked, the change was going to be stolen out of my car.
Yeah. There's no. You really don't understand how badly that affects you, man. When you see the world,
when your whole world is about survival,
constantly.
So my philosophy is the people who have it like that really would need to, in my opinion, simply just start saying, all right, I'm done stacking money. I'm going to go fix problems now. You need for Oprah and Jay-Z and Beyonce and LeBron, you need for them to decide to have the same passion for fixing things that Mother Teresa and Martin Luther King had. That's the only way.
We have not seen that yet.
No, that has never happened. No, because if it did, it would be Batman. It would be, you know what I mean?
Robin Hood.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what you would need. And that's why I'm saying you would need a person who has the heart to do that, but also the capacity to win at capitalism, which is very rare. Someone who values helping people that much isn't wired. And that's why I'm like, I think I got an idea. I think I could do it. And maybe I'm delusional, but I'm like, let me make a whole bunch of money. See what happens.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Bet me.
I could see that working like that.
Let me make $100 million.
I mean, maybe
I'm giving 90 of it away.
Wait, what?
If I made if you handed me $100 million today, I'd give 90 million of it away.
Yeah,
I might get a divorce.
You are getting a divorce.
But I feel strongly. I would feel bad about myself as a person.
But like you said, what
are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? What are you doing?
What is it doing?
It's not doing anyone any good. You've basically neutralized it.
Yeah, you have.
You've neutralized it. It's useless. It's worthless. If you're not using,
I would understand that.
But she's been indoctrinated into the capitalist. I think I could win her over. Don't get me wrong.
$10 million is a comfortable.
Because here's the thing. She believes that I'm gonna just start giving it away on the fly. She thinks as it comes in, I'm gonna give it out, and we're never gonna have anything.
Yeah.
That's what she believes.
Taken out of your own.
Because that's me. Right. She knows that if it were up to me, I'd give everybody everything anyway.
Yeah.
And she's right, but I do recognize, okay, I got to make sure, because here's the problem. You give away all your money, and then your kid needs to go to college, and you don't have money, you're going to be real mad.
So,
all right, that's why I say, I'll stack my 10, and then I'm good from there. But here's the thing. Think about it. That little kid, Ryan, on YouTube.
Ryan's Toys?
Yeah.
Ryan's World or whatever? Yeah.
He's making $1 bazillion, right? Yeah. But if he lived like my rule, right? He's, what is he, like 10 or something like that?
He's probably older than that at this point, but yeah.
But you got to figure he's got a solid 50 years left in his life.
Yeah.
So if he's wise and he thinks like me, he's got a solid 50 years of, I can earn money that I could put toward the pot. I mean, I feel like I'm late.
So what if, I mean, you're not about laws and legislation, but what if after so much money, all of this money goes back into the pot? Anything you make after goes into the pot.
I understand what you mean, but no one will agree to it. It's got to be your own free will, in my opinion.
But all right, hear me out. Just hear me out.
You just want a cap.
Listen, you have a couple generations of that law in place, and that money going back into the pot, more and more people coming out of poverty, the wealth gap decreasing instead of increasing like it does every year. Wouldn't the culture and the mindset change after a while? It would have to.
I don't know.
You have to jumpstart it.
No, in my opinion, I'm sticking to my guns. My jump start is individuals have to lead the way. Martin Luther King changed the world. Gandhi changed the world. Individuals showing the way can change the world.
I don't believe in them, man. We elected Donald Trump in 20.
Yeah, because people are dumb.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but here's the problem. People are dumb because they're uneducated. People are uneducated because greedy people figured out that educating people makes it harder to extract wealth from them. So what you do is you change that. Like any wealthy person that lives in any inner city, pick the inner city school near you and infuse millions of dollars into it. Simple as that. Fix the problem.
Yeah.
Fix problems. Stop buying ski resorts. Stop buying basketball teams. Fix problems.
Yeah, you really don't need that second yacht.
You don't need one yacht. You could rent a yacht.
True.
Look, I've been saying I want to go rent a yacht, but I'll rent it for like 4 hours. Because what would I need it for?
When it's just sitting there docked for months at a time.
Right. So if I rent a yacht and me and you and Roz and Dara and our kids kick it on the yacht for 3 hours, I'm good for several years. I don't need another yacht experience. Right? When I went to LA, I went to LA and I rented a Corvette. I I'm good. I drove real fast, did some donuts, and swear to you, I was in LA.
Donuts for real? I don't know how do you know how to do donuts?
Danny, man, I can't listen.
You did donuts?
Listen.
Like, you did a three.
I didn't know. I wasn't all like, I can't drive all that like that, but I was out there whipping it.
For real?
Oh, Danny.
Damn, by yourself. You didn't have Ruben with you?
Dolo. Listen.
I don't remember.
Out there whipping it.
I remember the picture. Was it blue?
No, it was black.
Black?
It was a black Corvette. I loved it.
Yeah.
But think about this. That was like $300 for a day.
Yeah.
I just saved myself like $80,000.
But you don't want people who are out here who, if someone goes out and buys a yacht, are we shaming that person?
No, I'm not shaming you for buying a yacht.
You don't necessarily need that yacht. But
listen, here's the thing. What I'm saying is, you can do whatever you want to do. I own a Mercedes. No, I'm lying. I lease a Mercedes. So I like nice things. I'm not going to be mad at you for wanting or liking nice things. Right? There's nothing wrong with nice things. Just don't be a jerk.
Right. Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Get back.
That's what I'm saying. So like, there are people out in the world who have $5 million yachts. Why? And here's the thing. You're allowed to. Do you.
Yeah.
But I'm allowed to judge you.
Yeah.
And my hope is that we as a culture begin to judge the Jeff Bezoses of the world for being jerks. And understand, by be jerk, I mean you are just indulging in the culture that we have created. Yeah. But we have a culture that values being jerks.
Yeah. Right. Instead of taking all that out on the person who gets the extra $50 a month in food stamps.
Exactly.
Somehow.
Right. You're going to judge the person who bought a steak with their food stamps, but you're not going to judge the person who owns 2 airplanes. Mm-hmm. You're dumb.
Well, just across town from that person who just bought that steak.
Right. You're mad because when I was on food stamps, I had lobster tail. And I did.
I remember, man, we ate good.
We ate so good.
We ate good, man.
Because there's nothing you can do with that money other than buy food.
That's it.
And if you have nothing, and all you want is to feel good for a minute, you buy yourself a lobster tail every now and again. Yep. And if you don't understand that, go kick rocks.
Yeah.
Period.
Exactly.
Go kick rocks.
Yep.
I don't like you as a person.
I mean, that's the problem. We got so much of that. And it's coming from people who don't have money.
Yes.
Like, they're doing the bidding for the top.
Right. And it's a system that it just makes no sense. So what I would hope for is, yes, we throw a little bit of shade when you pull up. Nah, if you want your Maserati because it's your favorite car, buy your Maserati. Mm-hmm. But if you got a Maserati and a Bentley and a Corvette and the S-Class, you got them all?
Yeah.
All right, you're getting carried away, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's the exact same thing as if you go to Burger King and you buy 7 Whoppers and you sit down at the table. I'm not going to tell you can't, but I'm going to be like, come on, man.
You're not eating all that.
You're not eating all that. Why would you do that?
Yep.
And then your answer is, I bought them just in case, and I'm going to sit here with them on my plate until I'm ready to leave. And then when I'm ready to leave, and only when I'm ready to leave, I'll give one to my son. And he's going to eat one of them, and that's going to leave 5 Whoppers.
Yep. Have you seen Floyd's car collection? Man.
But our culture tells people to do that.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at him necessarily because our culture tells us to do that.
That's talking with that. Can you be mad at Floyd Mayweather for having all those cars?
No, I'm not mad at him. Now, do I judge it and wish he wouldn't do it? Yeah, I'm allowed to do that. But it's his money.
It's his money. He earned that shit. I mean,
and that's why I say, like, when I know this. When someone hears this, they're going to say, all right, yeah, okay, you're going to give away all your money. Yeah, right. Do whatever you want with your money. And I say that's exactly the point. Yeah. I'm not telling anybody to do anything other than me. And so, my philosophy, if I ever win the lottery or happen to make a whole bunch of money, you will see it play out in my life. You will never hear me say to somebody else, you need to do this. I'm only saying I do hope that people agree with me.
You get that money, I'm going to be here with that camera and that camera.
Documenting
the whole thing.
And that's part of the plan.
Yeah, I already know with you, those cameras never turn on.
They're always on. The cameras are always on. So my thing is, I would need for everybody to see it. That would be part of the plan because it's a culture shift that I'm going for. I would want to change the way that we think.
Yeah, you're not changing anything unless you can change the way somebody thinks.
That's right.
Yeah.
I want us to think differently. I want us to no longer value money more than we value each other. That's what I want. It's as simple as that. I would want that one value shift. Money is a tool. Money is only useful when it's doing something for you. So if you have $100 million in the bank, most of your money is absolutely useless.
It is.
And people don't think about it like that because in America, money itself is a goal.
Yeah. But I remember when you first started to get into your come up, you had more than it took time for you to adjust to having that.
It was a very difficult
that safety net.
It was a mental shift. Being in survival mode changes the way you think.
Yeah.
So then when you suddenly have money, mentally you're still in survival mode. That's why you see these young football players and basketball players wilding out, doing dumb stuff because mentally they're where they were. Then you give them a bunch of money, it didn't change anything.
Yeah.
And it took the first year I ever made decent money. I was like, end of the year I had nothing. I had no money. And I was like, how's that even possible? I made like 3 times what I made the year before, and I somehow don't have any money. And I started like I got QuickBooks, and I started adding stuff up. I was like, oh, I spent it all.
Yeah, and you don't realize it.
You spent it all.
If it wasn't for Excel spreadsheets,
and spent it on dumb stuff too.
Yeah.
Stuff that nobody needs.
Yeah.
But that's what you do in America. You go buy stuff. You go do stuff.
Yeah.
Right. And don't get me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. Cool. Do you. YOLO. Have fun. Right? But my thing is, if you really do reach the point where you're all the way good now, and nothing else is a concern, and you don't... Everybody knows this. If there's the earthquake, and you get your stuff together, and your house is back together, and you look outside, and you see your neighbor's house is literally still in shambles, it's stuff everywhere crumbling, and you don't go across the street and help, you're a jerk.
You are.
And everybody knows that.
Yeah, you are. Because I would want my neighbors over there.
That's what I'm saying.
When Cruz got diagnosed with cancer, everybody came in.
Everyone.
Everybody.
And you know why? Because that's the right thing to do.
You just, in the way that it makes you feel to have that level of support, I mean, it's just...
And what I would say is, in America, we've created a society where being wealthy trumps that.
It does, man.
Being the idea of creating wealth for yourself overrides that desire to go be good and helpful.
Yeah.
And so what I would want to do is just change that. Make it so that people recognize, oh, shoot, I've already saved $10, $15 million? And understand, maybe 10 million for me is 50 million for you. If you live in Manhattan, it might be 50. It might be a different number. Everybody got to decide for themselves what their number is. But come on now. It ain't a billion. I know it ain't. There's nowhere that it's a billion.
The only thing I'm struggling with here is you're hoping to shift the mentality.
Yeah, there's no way to know. But I'm going to tell you what it is. It's that I got tired of studying problems. I want to just fix them.
Yeah.
Scholars study problems. And that's cool. I'm going to just fix it. Let's just fix it. What if we just fixed it? You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Homelessness. Why don't we just stop doing it? Why are we doing this?
It's crazy.
That's dumb. A person who was a veteran and fought in the Korean War lives under the bridge now?
Under the bridge.
Come on now. That's the best we came up with?
No medication.
Come on.
No money.
Come on.
No
that's what we came up with?
Yeah, man. That's what we got.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just like, nah, this is dumb. This is a bad idea. Let's just stop doing it.
Can you see America crumbling?
Yes, easily. And this is the problem. This is why. Because we're too busy worried about ourselves and our own prosperity to think about working together. And, I mean, think about it. We're being picked apart right now as we speak.
Yeah, we are.
And so, yeah, I believe that this is the fatal flaw of America. That's why I say America's a bad idea. Because they got together and they said, this is what we should do, and then we did it, and look at it. This is a terrible idea. So why don't we get together and, like, we'll meet at the playground and come up with the new rules. Because that game was dumb. And
I like how you brought that full circle.
Let's start a new game, man. That's what I'm saying. We don't have to have a war. Let's just start a new game. This game is dumb.
It is a war. We are at war.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping. This is what I said this earlier. If Oprah Winfrey sees this and says, all right, this fool thinks it would be that easy. All right, I'm going to give you $15 million.
Let's just see what you do with it.
Let's just see what happens. Listen.
So what are you saying? What are you saying? So Oprah says, all right, I'm going to give you 15. What are you saying? I'm going to take 10 out of this and I'm giving 5 away?
Yeah. Literally giving it away. I bet you if someone gave me $15 million today, no, you'd have to stomach the fact that I'm a stack 10 of it. 10 of it is mine. For me, because I would get a divorce, right? I'm getting divorced. But the other 5, I bet you on everything I love, there ain't gonna be no.
I believe.
There ain't no
question in my mind.
I'm picking a place and ending poverty.
Yeah.
Ending homelessness. Because you can't. Poverty is complex, but homelessness is simple.
Yeah.
I bought you a house, you're no longer homeless, and I bet you that's what I would do.
You think it's better to give somebody enough money to buy a house or buy them the house? Because
in my opinion, you buy them the house because you give them the money. There are people who don't have an understanding of the financial system, which is why you got to give them a house and you got to give them support. You can't just walk away.
Is necessary.
You can't just walk away. It's not that simple.
No. Yeah,
right? But I bet you. Listen, Oprah. If you send me $15 million, think of it as charity. I bet you, I'm ending homelessness somewhere. We're gonna pick a town where there's enough.
Start right in Washington.
Yeah, I'm buying every vacant property, and I'm going to the mission, and I'm gonna say, "You trying to get a home? Let's go. Here's yours. Everybody grab hammers because we got to fix up these houses, and then I'm giving y'all houses." That's what I would do. It's because why not? Let's just see what happens. And there's some scholar somewhere that would say no, that wouldn't work because X, Y, and Z. Okay, but have you tried?
Yeah, I like your idea of bringing on an economist of some kind.
Yeah.
Let's talk about.
Tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me the flaw. And because I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
So I'm wrong in some way. There's something I'm not seeing, but tell me what it is. Yeah. And let's figure it out. And somebody get Oprah and Jeff Bezos on this conversation so that when we figure out how it could work, they fund it.
I want somebody to make the argument of how this system that we have in place is the right system. Not just your way won't work. All right, well tell me why this one.
Tell me why this one makes any sense.
Yeah.
I believe I understand what you mean, and I believe in my heart this system is dumb, and the only people who are going to argue to keep it are the people who are winning in it.
Yeah.
You're not going to find somebody making $50,000 a year. Well, yes you will.
Yes you will.
Yes you will. And the reason you will is because they want to one day. See, that's the problem with America. The American dream makes it so that you believe that one day you could be one of the people.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to get rid of the system.
Or that somehow the person who became the billionaire is somehow smarter and brighter than the average person, which is not always
well, and even if it is the case, so what?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So you're telling me because I don't have the level
That's
of
right.
that you have.
Right. Because think about it. I was poor, right? And the reason I'm no longer poor is I'm relatively intelligent, relatively articulate, and relatively good looking.
And you've got a motor that doesn't ever turn off.
Right, and I'm persistent. But I believe, again, I have some of the things that people in America value. The whole idea of a Yavis. You know what Yavis is? Young, attractive, verbal, intelligent, successful. That's Yavis. Okay? Yavis, it's been studied a million times. Yavis people are just more appealing to most people. It's just a thing. In America, that's what we value. We value youth. We value... Think about Obama. He rose to prominence because he could speak well. And those are cool things. Don't get me wrong. But it shouldn't mean that, like, you get the free pass and the person who's just not all that bright, not all that good looking, and not all that verbal should be poor. That doesn't make any sense. That's dumb. That is a dumb system.
Yeah, but like you said, it's purposeful. It's by design.
It's by design.
And it's working.
And so what I would say is, this is my invitation. I want an economist or a political scholar, somebody who can come onto the show and explain to me how I'm wrong. Because I don't think I am. But let's find out.
Yeah.
But this was good.
Yeah, I like this.
A good first start.
Mm-hmm. It's us, but I'm interested in what we're talking about.
Right.
I hope y'all are, but I am.
Right. Nah, I'm telling you, I feel like I got something figured out here. I mean, don't get me wrong. The comments, people gonna tell me how dumb I am, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll listen.
I mean, I think you're a little bit dumb, but only because I think you're putting too much faith in.
Yeah, maybe so. I'm putting faith in people. Yeah,
you are.
Yeah, but that's me. I'm a humanist. I believe what Maslow said. Right? People. The natural tendency of a human is towards self-actualization. You get the roadblocks out of the way, and people will prosper. Yeah. But we got to get the roadblocks out of the way.
Right.
So.
Like you're right, man. The dude who runs up in your car and steals your money.
He doesn't want to.
He don't want to do that.
No.
You think he wants to do this?
He's hungry.
Starving. And his kids are starving.
Right. I'm not even all that mad at him.
I say the same thing, man.
I'm really not. I'm not that mad at him because what is he going to do? What do you want to do? Not eat?
Yeah.
Why don't we feed him? What if we just fed him?
I think that's a basic human right for everybody.
You know what I'm saying? So anyway, that's it. This is number one. We got one down.
Yeah, I like it.
And so if you're watching, if you're listening, we will be available on Facebook, on YouTube, it'll be a podcast, so wherever you listen to your podcast. And we've also got some other stuff in the works that I won't announce yet. But we're expanding our microphone. We're expanding our audience, so I'm excited about it. If there's more that you want us to talk about, if you want to hear other ideas, tell us what you want us to be talking about, because this is what we're going to be doing. We're going to bring guests on sometimes when possible, back when the world gets back to normal.
Even before then, because we got Zoom.
We can do Zoom, right? So we can bring this economist on next week if you want. Send me a message. So get at us on YouTube, get at us on Facebook, and let us know how we can have a conversation and take this to the next level, and try see if we can figure out some of the problems of the world. With Danny Miller, I'm Dr. Ruben Brock. This is House Call.